Hello viewers. For years on end, Indian football has been described as a sleeping giant, one with boundless talent and potential, which remains untapped. Prasar Bharati, as India's public broadcaster, strongly believes that as in so many fields in recent years, Indian football can also realize its true potential. And this can be done through partnerships and collaboration with the best in the field. Four-time world champion Germany has one of the best football cultures that has achieved unparalleled success over the years. German football and footballers are admired and respected by football lovers across India. In India, football is very popular in Goa, Kerala, Bengal, Northeast and other parts of the country. Doordarshan channels have got a strong reach across India, and Prasar Bharati's recently launched Waves platform is also increasing its footprint among different sections of the Indian population. The objective of the collaboration between DFB and Prasar Bharati is to bring the best of German football to the maximum Indian homes. It will inspire Indian kids to take up the game, train themselves as professional German footballers do, and take Indian football to greater heights in the years to come. So watch the best of German football action on DD Sports and Waves.
Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. Remember those famous words by Lord Byron? Well, it sort of applies to Indian football. We keep on dreaming about a golden period, the awakening of the so-called sleeping giant, yet it's not really happened till now. Even as Indian football aspires to rub shoulders with the best in the world, the many would say it's still a long way to go. But remember what, or guess what? Help is at hand, and of course the Germans have come calling. Remember German? Well, the second most successful football team in the world of football after Brazil. Germany is out here to help India restructure and take a new fresh look at grassroots football in India. Hello and welcome to Indian Football Kal Aaj Aur Kal. I'm Sanjeev Mukherjee, your host for this very special presentation tonight, and of course with me I have two very special gentlemen who have come here all the way from Germany and are here to talk to us about the roadmap they're trying to lay for Indian grassroots football. On to my immediate left is the man who I would say helms the entire DFB, that's the German Football Association, Dr. Helga Blask. How are you?
Thank you very much for having us.
How is India treating you so far?
Great. I just arrived this morning and I can feel the energy on the street, like from the first step I did outside of the airport. So yeah,
right.
Very happy to be here.
Right. I hope you feel a bit more of it here in the studio. Also, to his immediate right, Dietmar Beiersdorfer. He's the CEO of Ingolstadt FC from Germany, and also somebody who's played a bit of football with the likes of Lothar Matthäus and company. How are you doing?
Yes, totally fine. So I'm really glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me, and yeah, looking forward to a great stay.
Right, Holger. First things first. The introductions out of the way. You know, Germany, powerhouse in international football, and when you look at India, there's so much of potential which remains to be tapped. What is the first impression you get about India as a footballing country when you look at it?
You see, I mean, it has a reason that we are here. We see that there is a young population, so much growing country and growing strong country. And yeah, we try to develop football together, like especially, so first of all, to have the reach and see how popular it's going to be. And we all know it's going to be popular if there's more boys and girls to play football. And that's why we try to even catch up and build up some cooperations between the FA, but also between clubs and Indian clubs, and see what we can achieve together.
Right. Dietmar, you come from a footballing perspective, from a very different footballing culture. The one thing I found out when I was reading about German football is the way they are also trying to bring the fun back into the game as far as the kids are concerned, the junior level is concerned. How does that work, and how do you propose to bring a little bit of that here in India?
Yeah, also we try to question ourselves, how can we be better? And so we discuss it we are a football culture,
okay,
you know.
Let's make this more interesting. Why are you questioning yourself to be better?
Yeah,
is there a reason behind it?
Yeah, the reason for excellence, and obviously we didn't make it that good in the last World Cups.
Yep.
So we have to get better again and get traced. So we are always questioning us, and we try to set up new models to train with our youth, with our grassroots, which is very important to give them already a culture in the young ages. And so we, the DFB and also the clubs being there in Germany, try to set up different things, try to bring new things into the sports, the football, and so there we go on and try to also to help to support India in the development of football.
Right, Holger, if I just look at, take a look at your designation, you're the managing director of DFB. DFB is the German Football Association. If I am to ask you, one of the top guys there in charge, for the German Football Association, how do they look at the task of developing football in Germany itself?
I mean, Didi explained it in a way. So we were figuring out, okay, what went wrong during the last 2 World Cups. We found out that we were training the kids very technically, like very early on decent positions, like let's say on the left-hand side, back. So now we changed the game for the kids, so that they have more ball action, that they are playing to 4 goals, so that everybody is more into the game, so that we have like the individual skills coming up again, and then starting with more systematic play in the academies a little bit later. So that's basically the idea of the approach.
So basically what you've done is you've broken down the football pitch, you've broken down the game, brought it into small halves or small parts, in which you're getting the boys and girls to have a lot of fun even as they develop their skills. Is this based on research? How do you come upon an idea like this?
It's also based on research. I mean, and it's not only we are thinking about it. For example, in Belgium, and we could see that they were performing very well for a very small country. They were doing it earlier than we did. So, and yeah, we try to see where we can learn something and take it over to our system. So we are not copying one thing, but we are just taking the bits and pieces we think we need to develop again.
Right. So Dietmar, just taking this forward, how does the football system in Germany work? If one has to know, is there sort of a feeder system which you have the clubs, you have the district associations who are training the kids at a particular level, then taking them to academies, clubs, and then they go on to play for the national team? How does it work? What's the structure like?
So the German Football Association is based on really a lot of clubs into the country, in the country. And also we have this feeder system. We have points in our regions where we bring them together, the best of them, the best ones, and try to develop them. And from there they go to the next level, and then to the national teams. And so we have different leagues, and we changed the league this year because we had a Bundesliga in the under 19, under 17,
right?
And we so that you could go up and you could go down also to relegate, but
right.
we finished with this, and we take the youth centers, the youth academies. We give them a right place, that they don't have the pressure, and that you can bring the young players also. It's not always about the success at this stage. It's about the development at this stage. And this is a quite different things which divides us from the years before.
So how do you prepare a country? I mean, Germany has got a fabulous footballing culture. You won the FIFA World Cup 4 times, just after Brazil. But when you look at development and, of course, the rising costs, the game has become very costly. So there's money to be earned, money has to be made, and of course then you put that money, you push a certain stream of that money back into the game. How do you make this possible?
It's a question
to
me?
Yeah.
I mean, so as you said, I mean, football, that's a good thing. It's so popular in Germany, it's so popular in Europe, so we can earn, especially with media rights, etc., like on the federations level, with the national team, with the DFB Pokal, but also our colleagues from Bundesliga, the money to reinvest into the professional structures of training academies, but also to grassroots level, and that is more the job and our duty at the federation to make it possible that every boy or girl in Germany can play football, so that we find infrastructure and facilities, that we go to schools to make them start playing football. And if at the end of the day they are so talented and they end up in youth academies like in Ingolstadt, then hopefully they find their way through up to the national team again.
So what is the role of the institutions? I mean to say, as per the schools, how important are they in sort of facilitating the access of a school-going kid to the top facilities of football which you're offering?
So far it's not that much lends to the schools, because like as you said, we have the regional federations, we have the state associations, and then we have the club system. There's 25,000 clubs in Germany where you can play football.
25,000
yes,
clubs.
yes. But since the kids are going to stay longer and longer in school and doing their sporting lessons even in school as well, we try to combine it, because otherwise they would many of them would be lost for the system of football, because if they come only home at 6 or 4 or 6 at the evening, probably not every one of them is going to play football in a club anymore. So we want to make them start playing in schools, and therefore we try to combine the both systems now. It's another next step.
Let me ask you a direct question with a quick answer. How long do you think it'll take for Germany to produce the sort of footballing talent which we have seen in the past, and for it to reclaim the World Cup? So what's the target? Is it 2026? Is it 2030? Is it 2034?
In football is as soon as possible, and the best is the next day. But we have a lot of talent. This is right. We have Wirtz, we have Musiala, we have this kind of players which are outstanding now, and we produce on a yearly basis always talents. And what Holger said is right. We also, as a club, as an academy, you don't care only about the football, the technique, the athletics. You also care about the pedagogics and also the psychology. And this is a good system the DFB set up in the past. And so there are a lot of talents coming out, and we follow the path, and try to bring it to the first teams, because this is a big step from the youth development to the first teams, to the seniors. And we try to support this with coaches in between. And so there's a big system behind it.
A big system is behind it. Just imagine the headline it would make if the Germans actually go on to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup, that too in the United States of America. Just think about the headline. Well, we'll give you a little food for thought. We'll take a small break. When we come back, lots more on this riveting discussion. We are just getting on our way. Welcome back to the special presentation. This, as we discuss Indian football, Kal Aaj Aur Kal, and as the Germans have actually come calling, and it remains to be seen how soon India can actually focus and rather refocus and re-strategize on its grassroots football and infrastructure. Holger and Dietmar are here with me still. Holger, we heard a bit about how the two of you actually laid out how the German football system works, how you develop grassroots football in your own country. As a football fan, as somebody who keeps an active, more than just an active interest in the game, how do you think it's difficult? What is Germany doing, or rather, how is it different from the way Spain is developing its football, or maybe England is developing its football? How are you different from them?
Well, it's always hard to speak.
Tough one?
It's a tough one. It's always hard to speak about what the others are doing. I mean, we can see from the many talent in England and in Spain that they're doing quite good as well. I mean, we lost to Spain in a very, very tough and close match at the Euro 24. And as you mentioned before, we would be happy if we can have the rematch in 26 and win it there.
Now someone's talking. Now someone's talking. And you would know about this rematch, this rivalry in football. If we just step aside from the grassroots, I mean, Germany versus Italy, Germany, France, Germany, England, starting from way back 1966. I'm sure not a single German who was watching that game has forgotten Jeff Hurst and the lack of goal line technology. And but Germany and Argentina, what a rivalry that has been. And you've been part of the German team yourself. Talk us through a little bit about that time.
Yeah, it's quite a long time ago, but yes, I was very happy to join also the national team. I was there after the World Cup 1990.
You beat Maradona.
Yeah,
You beat Maradona and half of India was crying.
Yes, Germany beat. I wasn't on the pitch, but
Yeah, 1-0.
yeah, and it was a great match. And
Yeah.
Andy Brehme scored
Brehme, yeah.
with the penalty.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I could go with the national team for more or less 1 year, and it was great playing with Lothar Matthäus, Jürgen Klinsmann, Guido Buchwald, Jürgen Kohler, whatever, Thomas Hessler, Karl-Heinz Riedle, Rudi Völler. And this was a great team, and I enjoyed it a lot. And we have still contact to each other. So this is obviously one of my biggest achievements I had in football. Yeah.
Right. So when Holger, so when coming from a storied, a glorious past like that, and you represent the German Football Association, and then when you look at India, of course, it's had its nothing really to talk about as far as international level football is concerned. How difficult a task it is at the outset when you look at sort of trying to streamline grassroots football and infrastructure here?
I mean, first of all, I mean, we were coming to see and to cooperate and see how much the interest in German football is. And then, as I said, you will only grow it if there is like grassroots football in the country itself. So I think it would be a task for German football together with Indian football to develop it. You're speaking about that it might be a long way, but on the other hand, you have a young population, you have such a large population, you are almost 3.5 times the whole European Union in one country. There's probably a lot of talent outside there, so and you have to find it and bring it to the pitch.
Absolutely. In fact, I believe the average viewership, television viewership, for a Bayern Munich game in the Champions League or a Bundesliga will perhaps be less than what one of our footballing states might actually provide. For that, you've got to win the World Cup and maybe get the Indian youngsters interested in Germany. Would you agree to that? It's coming up next year. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, we are always ready because the Germans have to go on. So, and also we try to take this step. We try to take the chance. If we can help, if we can support, we can bring our knowledge here without being arrogant and say, okay, we experienced it, so it's just we want to support, and this is a great opportunity, I think, also for us to learn a new culture, because it's always great to explore a new culture, and you also then develop as a man, and so this is very important for us, and if we can give the support to India, we would be really proud, and we would be really happy as well.
Right, and the more we've read about German football, we've discussed, we've also learned about German football. Football has never really been just a sport for Germany. It's been more than a sport. It's been a philosophy. It's been a way of life. In fact, it also sort of, Holger, reflects me in the sense a German football team is always referred to as a Mannschaft.
Starting with what you said first, I think it is very closely related to our history. You know, the whole proud for the country came back with 54 after Second World War, participating the first time and winning the World Cup. Nobody expected it. The whole country was not in shape of expecting something great, and so it was like the birth hour of the new Germany. So, and that's why I think football is so, it's not only sport number one, it's sport number 1, 2, 3, and then there's long time nothing, and then and then there's some other sports coming up, and but the other point you're talking about, and even this is related to 54, and it is related to 2014,
1974.
Well. Yeah, the other titles as well. I mean, 74, there always were great players on the pitch: Fritz Walter, Franz Beckenbauer in 74, Lothar Matthäus in 90, but the German team is and was always, especially also in foreign countries, perceived not it is like 1, 2, 3 stars, but it's the team which is fighting till the end of the match, till the 90th minute or perhaps 90 plus something. And therefore the German word of being team, Mannschaft, was translated into English, and so we are perceived as die Mannschaft in many countries.
The Mannschaft are coming, and that's the common refrain here as far as Indian English media is concerned about German football. But it's been, as you say, German football, the rise, the ascent, it's very close to the culture of the country. You just mentioned 1954. Germany played a game against Hungary, who had a wizard called Puskás.
Yes.
14 days before the final, the Hungarians hammered Germans 8-3, and then Helmut Rahn and Fritz Walter and company come back in 54 in the final, which is considered one of the greatest World Cup finals of all time, beating the Hungarians 3-2. In 74, you are faced with a magician, Johan Cruyff, and the Dutch score within the first 90 seconds without a single German touching the ball, yet Germany wins 2-1. 1990, you're faced with Diego Maradona, one of the all-time best, who himself said he was better than Pele, and Germans beat him and Argentina 1-0. In 2014, you hammered Brazil in the semi-final, beat Messi and Argentina in the final. So the Germans have a way of perhaps getting out their A game, their best game, when they are up against the best in the world. Do you think that is ingrained in German football?
Yes, so I think it is, because this is what Holger said. This is a deep-lying culture, a deep-lying thing in our souls, that we want to win, that we want to go for the win, that we struggle, but we fight till the end. And we did it a lot of times, and the history proved it. And this we have to transmit in the near future, because the last years haven't been that good that we expected, because also the other countries did well, and also they had grassroots, also they had new systems of developing young players. They have good leagues. Everything is there, and the competition is much closer than it has been maybe a few years before, and so we have to. This is what I wanted to tell, that we always have to think about, that we always have to try to getting better, and to try a new formula of developing players, and at the end this is it, and then you can keep it maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years up, and then others come again. So we saw it with the Spanish football players. We saw it with the French players, and so hopefully there's a new era now for the Germans.
For the Germans. Interesting conversation, and the fact that you just mentioned about the need to be better, to look within yourselves and try and be better. You know, that reminds me, it's strange, it's ironic, but that's the common language of football. It's a former German footballer who runs a big club in Germany. He speaks in the same language as a Brazilian superstar of yesteryears, as Socrates, the philosopher, the football king, once said that our greatest strikers are those who go back home and cannot sleep at night, even after scoring a hat-trick, thinking about the one goal they missed. That's the reason to better yourselves. How is Germany going to help India rebuild itself better, its grassroots football? That's the housing question. We'll come back after this very small break and talk to these two gents right out here. Stay right there. Welcome back. The story of Indian football. Kal, aaj aur kal this, even as we look forward to Indian football reclaiming, or rather repossessing, its true self with the help of Germany. And the German authorities are here, and they are making sure that they will set their best foot forward as they intend to take India a few notches up in the footballing stratosphere. Olga, we're talking about Germany, the footballing culture, ethos, the need to improve yourself. And you are a superpower in football. And what is the first thing you're going to tell maybe an average Indian football kid who comes to one of your coaching camps or academies, or whichever way you go about setting up grassroots football? What is the experience first and foremost you're going to give to him? And what are you going to tell him? What is the one thing he's got to learn from the German football culture?
I mean, the first thing, football is such an easy access thing. We need a ball and some square meters, and you can start playing. And that is something which is yeah, it brings fun just to play around with some friends, and then you can think about how to build up like a performance-driven football system. But in the beginning, it's about fun.
It's about fun.
Yes.
You? What are you going to tell an average kid who you introduce to what is fun in football? How do you explain to a kid in India?
This is what Holger says is it's right. Just play, have fun, and the curriculum comes later. Even maybe you don't feel it that you are already inside the curriculum. But the most important thing is that the girl or the boy is coming back. That he has fun, that he go home, that he's happy with his parents, that he tells the parents from the training that he like to have new shoes because maybe I can be better with new shoes. I train harder like my neighbor kid. So this is the conversation and the culture which then is existing, and this is very important. I think it's not that we have to put them into the line and have to drill him. So we have to lead them to fun, to happiness, and then everything comes from itself. Because also we in Germany don't think that all the kids play from 6 to 18. Okay. Maybe also they drop out with 12 or 13 or 14. So also we have to fight for them and to give them an adventure, an experience which they don't want to miss. This is the most important thing.
Right. So obviously it remains to be seen. It'll be some time before India can produce or find its very own Jamal Musiala or Bastian Schweinsteiger, if I might say. But the DFB Pokal, as all of you who know and the ones who do not know are not aware, the German Cup, that's also here. How are you planning to bring the DFB Pokal into India, and how is it sort of the program which you have in mind for Indian football here?
If I may,
Sure.
I just add something to the one thing before. Besides fun, I have to say to all the Indian kids, pick your idols. We're talking so much about like the older ones like Matthäus or like Beckenbauer, but you were talking about Musiala, etc. It's great if you pick German players as your idols, because I wasn't gifted, I wasn't talented, but I played football a lot, and I wanted to be Pierre Littbarski back at the time because he was playing at my club. So that was the reason I went like every day on the street to play football.
FC Cologne, by the way.
Yeah, FC Cologne. He used to play in Cologne as well. So later then. So yeah, that's the second thing. But yeah, and DFB Pokal, it's a good platform to see and to pick your idols, because it's a great competition. I mean, the best teams of Germany are participating, but not only. It's open. It's open to grassroots level as well. And for example, this time in the semi-finals, we have a third division club, Arminia Bielefeld, and they are challenging right now the champion Bayer Leverkusen in the semi-finals. And let's see who's going to Berlin then.
That's obviously interesting, and the interest in German football is also picked up of late here in India, as it's not just Bayern Munich, but the other clubs who actually started to breathe down their neck. On that note, we're completely out of time, but a quick final word. A time, I'm not asking you for a timeline, but how hopeful are you of helping India develop its grassroots football structure? You first and you go then.
So we would like to start as soon as possible at once. And so everybody knows that it needs time, but we want to shorten the time, obviously, because we want to bring the joy and the fun and also the development to the kids in India, and also the kids in Germany, Indian kids in Germany. And so I think there is no time to lose. Let's start.
Let's start. What about you?
I think we bring the Indian interest to the table. We bring everything what we experience to the table. Everybody is open to find like a common cooperation. So I think yes, we not only should talk about starting, but we start.
There is a very popular anthem in India which goes just by these 2 words or 3 words. Let's football. Maybe let's football. That would be the spirit in which India actually starts developing its grassroots footballers, and we actually go on to find the superstars of the future. But easy we'll have to go, because it takes time to produce a footballing culture like the one from which we are getting help. On that note, Dr. Holger Blask, and of course Dietmar, thank you very, very much for spending a lot of time with us, and we
Thank you.
Thank you.
expect to see you again soon here in our studios and maybe across India as they set out to find out the next generation of Indian footballers who could be cultivated from a very young age. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again with another episode of this very special presentation. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.